Namaskar. Gift an eye test to yourself, your loved ones this Valentine. We celebrate love with an eye awareness campaign in collaboration with the India Vision Institute with support from Essilor India, India International Optics Fair 2021, and Hoya Vision Care. Today we have with us a distinguished panel of experts, starting with Member of Parliament Rajya Sabha, Padma Shri awardee, ophthalmologist, empathetic, energetic, and diligent, Dr. Vikas Mahatme, who has won the hearts of millions of people in Maharashtra through his charitable and social work. He founded Mahatme Eye Bank, an eye hospital which has carried over 80,000 operations free of cost. Dr. Mahatme has been part of various parliamentary standing committees on health and family welfare, consultative committee on railways, welfare of OBC, and Indian Nursing Council, besides others. We have with us Sri Ramachandran Parthasathi, whom we lovingly call as Ram in the eyewear industry. He is an eyewear consultant, honorary advisor for India Vision Institute and Sure Trust, having served in the optical industry for over 3 decades. Last week, Group COO South Asia of Essilor and prior in Tata Group. As a torchbearer and advisor, he mentors various initiatives that help develop the eye care industry. We also have with us Mr. Vinod Daniel. He himself, being a chemical engineer, has been using his strong background in science and technology and his leadership skills to preserve heritage globally through ICOM, OS Heritage, and Daniel Aspect Private Limited, and assist Indians, especially those from the underprivileged communities, access vision screenings and a pair of free spectacles to those in need through the India Vision Institute. Mr. Daniel's work in eye health and vision care and in heritage and museum preservation are impressive contributions to society. Through the NGO, India Vision Institute, that Mr. Daniel was instrumental in setting up, he is making a big difference in the lives of tens of thousands of Indians in remote corners by providing them access to vision screening and a pair of spectacles to the needy. The charity is currently involved in projects in 19 Indian states. We also have with us Dr. Vijaya Gotwal, who has been associated with the LV Prasad Eye Institute, Hyderabad, for over 3 decades. She has graduated from the Elite School of Optometry, Chennai, and holds a master's and PhD from the Queensland University in Technology, Brisbane, Australia, and a postdoctoral fellowship from Adelaide, South Australia. She is a fellow of the American Academy of Optometry and was awarded the Diplomat in Low Vision Research by the American Academy of Optometry for her enormous contribution in research in low vision. She is the first Asian and Indian to be awarded the diplomat status. She is the recipient of the prestigious Constance W. Atwell Award for Excellence in Low Vision Research in 2002 by the Low Vision Research Group Committee, ARVO. Dr. Gotwal established the Low Vision Center, MIRA, and LB Deshpande Center for Sight Enhancement at LVPEI more than 2 decades ago. She has trained over 200 short-term fellows in low vision and was responsible for spearheading the low vision awareness program at LV Prasad Eye Institute. She has to her credit over 100 publications in peer-reviewed national and international journals. She conducts collaborative research with researchers in the UK, US, and in Australia. I would personally like to thank Sri Subhash Bansal, who's the chief editor of Optician India magazine and the managing director of SS Exhibitors, who's promoting the India International Optics Fair, besides being the president, Optical Association of India, for helping us constitute this session. Thank you, Subhash. I would also like to personally thank Sri Shekhar Nambiar, who's the general manager, India Vision Institute, for helping bringing this panel together. I would like to request Dr. Vikas Mahatme to begin this session with a message to the general public about eye health and the need for regular eye checkup.
नमस्कार सबको, उपस्थित सभी लोगों को मेरा बहुत बहुत हृदय से नमस्कार। यहाँ उपस्थित रामचंद्रन पार्थसारथी जी, वैसे यहाँ उपस्थित है डॉक्टर विनोद डैनियल जी, डॉक्टर विजया गोथवाल और अध्यक्ष ऑप्टिकल एसोसिएशन के श्री बंसल जी, जैसे मधुर गुप्ता जी, शेखर नंबेन जी और सभी उपस्थित मान्यवर। मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है कि आपने ये एक ऑर्गेनाइज किया, लोगों तक के हमारी आवाज सुने, हमारे विचार चाहे, क्योंकि जब तक के हम देखते नहीं तब तक के हम विश्वास नहीं रखते। तो ये अच्छा हुआ आपने वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस द्वारा इसको सभी लोगों की तरफ आप पहुंचा रहे हैं, तो आपको तो मैं धन्यवाद दूंगा। लेकिन सबसे महत्वपूर्ण सभी लोगों से मेरी अपील है, एज एन आई स्पेशलिस्ट, एज अ मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट ऑल्सो, कि जो भी आप कर रहे हैं, मैं काम में बहुत व्यस्त रहता हूँ, सभी काफी काम में व्यस्त रहते हैं, और इसकी वजह से थोड़ी सी परेशानी यह है कि हम खुद के तरफ ख्याल देने के लिए भी हमें समय। और मैं बताता हूँ, चश्मा चेकअप के लिए हम जाते नहीं, नया चश्मा लिया तो थोड़ा समय देना पड़ता है उसको एडजस्ट होने के लिए, ये समझ नहीं सकते, उसके लिए समय नहीं रहता। मैंने देखा है कि उस एडजस्ट होने के पहले ही अपन चलने जाते, सीढ़ियां चढ़ते उतरते समय गिरने की संभावना रहती है, तो हेडेक होता है। ये सभी रूटीन है, लेकिन हम उससे एडजस्ट नहीं हो पाते। तो सबसे पहले तो ये भी देखा है मैंने, यदि से लेके कि आंखों में चेकअप की इतनी ज्यादा जरूरी है, तिरछापन रहता है, भेंगापन रहता है। घर के कभी कभी आजू बाजू के लोग बोलते हैं कुछ जरूरी नहीं चेकअप की, अपने आप ही सीधी हो जाएंगे आप। वैसा नहीं है, जब तक कि आप चेकअप नहीं करेंगे तब तक पता नहीं रहेगा आपको कि बीमारी किस वजह से है। और 90% सिर्फ चश्मा लगाते हैं तो भी सही हो जाती है। लेकिन छोटे बच्चों में चश्मा बोलने से डर लगता है सबको, लेकिन डरने के बजाय मेरा कहना यह है कि उसको यदि आपको लग रहा है भेंगापन, तिरछापन या स्क्विंट है तो चेकअप करना बहुत जरूरी है। वैसे मैंने काफी सारे स्टूडेंट्स देखे हैं, वो आते हैं तब उनके माँ बाप बोलते हैं कि इसकी ना पढ़ाई की तरफ इसका ख्याल नहीं है, आप कुछ इसको समझाइए, आप डॉक्टर बने, इसको भी बताइए थोड़ा पढ़ाई का क्या महत्व है। मैं चेकअप करता हूँ तो उसका विजन इतना कम रहता है, बहुत बुरा लगता है कि विजन, यदि उसको डिस्टेंस का मायोपिया है, माइनस नंबर का चश्मा है, उसको दिखता नहीं है, ब्लैक बोर्ड पे क्या लिखा है वो पढ़ नहीं सकता। अब वो ब्लैक बोर्ड पे जो लिखा है वो पढ़ नहीं सकेगा तो वो उसको इंटरेस्टिंग कैसे लगेगा। जो चीज दिखती नहीं है तो समझने में तो बहुत कठिन हो जाती है, लेकिन उसकी समझ अच्छी होने की वजह से आजू बाजू का उसको नजदीक वाला जो है, बच्चों से बात करना, खेल कूद में उसको कुछ तकलीफ नहीं है, तो उसका ध्यान अपने आप ही पढ़ाई से दूर होते जा रहा है। लेकिन इसका प्रॉब्लम हमने ये नहीं सोचा कि हम चेकअप रेगुलरली नहीं करते। बच्चों का चेकअप रेगुलरली होना जरूरी है, और यह करीबन 12% लोगों में, मैंने जब स्टूडेंट्स स्कूल का हम सर्वे करते हैं तो उसमें इतने स्टूडेंट्स लोगों को चश्मा निकलता है, तो सभी ने चेकअप करना जरूरी है। सरदर्द भी काफी बार ऐसे होता है कि चश्मा न लगाने की वजह से होता है। बाद में अराउंड द एज ऑफ 40 जो भी कैंप मैं ऑर्गेनाइज करता हूँ, तो कैंप में गांव में कोई भी चश्मा लगाने से, यानी लगाते नहीं है, और सब बोलते हैं कि मुझे दिखता है। और जब चेकअप करेंगे तो नजदीक के बड़े बड़े अक्षर तो क्या उनके लिए सर्कल या डॉट्स भी दिखते नहीं, उनको उनका क्वालिटी ऑफ वर्क हैम्पर हो रहा है ये भी उनको पता नहीं रहता। जैसे मैंने देखा कि टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री में वो काम कर रहे थे लेबरर्स वहां, लेकिन उनको वो धागा साफ नहीं दिखाई देता है, और जब चश्मा लेते हैं, अरे इतना अच्छा था, मुझे तो पता ही नहीं। और क्वालिटी एवरीवेयर, यानी घर के काम का लिए भी बढ़ती है, सभी के लिए बढ़ती है। और ग्लॉकोमा जैसी बीमारियां, जैसे जिसमें प्रेशर बढ़ता है, इसमें तकलीफ कुछ भी नहीं है, लेकिन धीरे धीरे परमानेंट लॉस ऑफ विजन है, हमेशा के लिए रोशनी जा सकती है। तो इसके लिए जब तक के चेकअप नहीं करेंगे, मैं तो आई स्पेशलिस्ट लोगों को भी बोलता हूँ कि आप चेकअप करवाओ रूटीनली। मैंने देखा है, मैं कॉन्फ्रेंस में पूछता हूँ कितने लोगों ने अपने आंखों का प्रेशर चेक किया इस साल में, और काफी बार ऐसे होता है कि आई स्पेशलिस्ट ने खुद का आई प्रेशर चेकअप, उसको काम बहुत है, वो आउटपुट बहुत दे रहा है कम्युनिटी के लिए, लेकिन वो आउटपुट बढ़ेगा कब, जब उसकी आंखों का जल्दी यदि डायग्नोसिस है। तो ये सभी के लिए जरूर है, अबाउ द एज ऑफ 40 ईयरली चेकअप ऑफ द आईज, सालाना आंखों की जांच होना जरूरी है। अब ये मैं बोलूंगा लेकिन मेरे साथ सभी लोग भूल जाएंगे, लेकिन मैंने तय किया है कि मेरा बर्थडे जिस महीने में रहता है, बर्थडे के दूसरे दिन मैं पूरा हेल्थ चेकअप करवाता हूँ। तो ये मेरी सबके लिए सबसे ज्यादा बड़ी गिफ्ट है, मेरे खुद के लिए, मेरे परिवार के लिए, क्योंकि जब मैं पूरा चेकअप करूंगा, आंखों का तो करता ही हूँ, तो ये जरूरी है कि हम वो किसी से लिंक कर ले, कि नहीं तो ये मैं बताता हूँ, मेरा लेक्चर सुनने के बाद सबको लगेगा अच्छा हुआ, याद कुछ नहीं रहेगा, लेकिन ये याद रखने के लिए कुछ चीज लिंक करिए आप मन से। बर्थडे कहिए, सालाना 1 जनवरी के बाद 2 जनवरी कर रही है, कुछ भी, लेकिन लिंक हो जाए सालाना चेकअप। और बाकी भी बहुत सारी बीमारियां हैं, यहाँ ये भी समझना जरूरी है कि हर बार हम सोचते हैं कि आई स्पेशलिस्ट के तरफ ही जाए, जरूरी नहीं है। रूटीन चेकअप का आप आजू बाजू के ऑप्टोमेट्रिस्ट और ऑक्यूलिस्ट के पास जाके या इनके पास जाके भी चेकअप करिए, और वो भी समझते हैं, उनको लगेगा कि आपको हाफ नॉलेज और फुल नॉलेज में मैं फर्क समझाना चाहूँ। व्हाट इज फुल नॉलेज? व्हेन यू नो व्हाट यू नो एंड व्हेन यू नो व्हाट यू डू नॉट नो। हमें ये पता है कि मुझे ये पता है, और मुझे ये भी पता है कि ये मुझे पता नहीं, उसे हम पूरा ज्ञान कहेंगे। यानी जब वो रेफरल, क्योंकि इनको सबको जो भी पढ़ाया जाता है उसमें स्किल ट्रांसफर होते हैं, तब ये बताया जाता है कि कौन से पेशेंट को वो रेफर करे, जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है मेरे ख्याल से, कि ये ट्रीटमेंट के बाद में भी इसको रेफर करना है, पार्शियल ट्रीटमेंट हुआ है या इसको ये मेरे समझ में नहीं आ रहा, तो ये इनको सिखाया जाता है, और इसलिए ये लोग भी अच्छे से चेकअप कर सकते हैं। मुझे आप लोगों से, जो भी टेक्नीशियंस है, ऑप्टोमेट्रिस्ट है, और जो भी इस फील्ड में अलाइड हेल्थ वर्कर्स करके काम कर रहे हैं, उनको भी एक सुझाव देना चाहूंगा, या एक्चुअली आप लोगों को पता है कि कम्युनिटी वर्क भी आप लोग करें, क्योंकि इसमें बड़ी कंपनियों के भी जो लोग हैं वो भी कर सकते हैं और कर रहे हैं, मैंने देखा भी। तो इसमें क्या है कि जब गांव में जाएंगे तो आपको पता चलेगा, बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स और प्रेस्बायोपिक एज अबव, यानी 40 साल की उम्र के बाद के सभी को चश्मे की जरूरत है, लेकिन उनको पता नहीं है, और आप वो डिजीजेस भी डायरेक्टली डायग्नोस कर पाएंगे, या पता चलेगा कि इनको भेजना चाहिए बड़े सिटी में चेकअप के लिए। तो गांव वालों के लिए भी उतना ही महत्वपूर्ण है। पुअर पीपल डू नॉट नीड पुअर सॉल्यूशंस, they need smart solutions, and smart solutions will be provided by allied health workers, optometrists, ophthalmic technicians। ये जो है ये हमें समझना है, ऑप्टिकल्स वाले सभी को, तो ये लोगों तक के भी पहुंचे कि हमें हर बार ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है, और लेकिन ये जरूरी है कि आंखों का चेकअप मस्ट है, और वो हमारे लिए है। मैंने देखा है कि एक आंख से कम दिखता है, वो ड्राइव करते हैं, ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस भी रहता है, वो होना नहीं चाहिए लेकिन रहता है, और वो बोलता फिर एक्सीडेंट होने के बाद, वो इतनी गाड़ी नजदीक थी ना, ये मुझे पता नहीं चला। वो पता क्यों नहीं चला? क्योंकि उसको बाइनोक्यूलर विजन नहीं, दोनों आंखों से देख नहीं पा रहा। जैसे मैं अभी ये पहना हूं तो स्टीरियो साउंड है, वैसा उससे डेप्थ पता चलती है, दूरी पता चल जाती है जल्दी कि कितना दूर पे है व्हीकल, तो वो पता नहीं चलता है, तो वो एक्सीडेंट्स हो जाते हैं। तो इसलिए ये समझना है, और वो फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड है, आपको समय नहीं लगता, दोनों गाड़ियां अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में यानी डबल स्पीड से हो जाता है। तो ये सब होने के लिए ना हो, इसलिए आपके आंखों की सुरक्षा के लिए बहुत जरूरी है रूटीन चेकअप। और मैं धन्यवाद दूंगा ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को, मुझे आपसे बातचीत करने का मौका दिया, और मैं अपने व्यूज शेयर कर पाया। और आपका काम ऐसे ही बढ़ते रहे ताकि पूरी कम्युनिटी को इसका फायदा हो और ये बार बार संपर्क में रहें। आप भी और मैं भी आपके संपर्क में रहना चाहूंगा। धन्यवाद। और सबके लिए आखिर में सिर्फ एक रूटीन चेकअप सालाना एक बार सभी ने करना जरूरी। धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर साहब, आपने हमारे लिए इतना समय निकाला और सभी लोगों को आपने जो डायरेक्शंस दी हैं, मेरे ख्याल में इतनी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव तरीके से आपने बताया कि वो आपकी बैकग्राउंड जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा इसमें हमें हेल्प कर रही है। To start with my first question, I would begin the session by asking a question to Dr. Vijaya. Vijay ji, would you help us understand common eye problems?
The global burden of disease that was being conducted a few years ago across, I think, about 190 countries. Global burden of disease study that was conducted worldwide suggested, and it is revealed that the major causes of blindness in people who are 50 years and older in the order are cataract, which is not surprising, glaucoma, undercorrected refractive error rather, age-related macular degeneration, and diabetic retinopathy. What are the numbers associated with this? So cataract is roughly around 15.2 million worldwide, this is. And glaucoma is 3.6 million. Undercorrected refractive error is 2.3 million. After some time, Vinod Daniel will be speaking about uncorrected refractive errors. Age-related macular degeneration, about 1.8 million. Diabetic retinopathy, 0.86 million. Now this is related to blindness, and how blindness is defined? It is defined as less than 3/60 best corrected in the better eye. So that is blindness. Now these are the leading causes worldwide, and this mirrors that what happens in India also. Now what happens in the area of low vision or moderate and severe visual impairment? There it is undercorrected refractive error and cataract, and this is needless avoidable blindness. And the strategies that can be put in place, as we all know, glasses. So uncorrected refractive error can be taken care of by a simple pair of glasses, and cataract has cost-effective interventions in terms of surgery. Now there are various barriers to surgery. That's the reason of cataract backlog, and with the aging population. So why these numbers are not reducing regardless of what efforts have been going on in this field for the last 50-60 years? This is because you have to keep pace with the aging population, and as the population is aging, these numbers are going to rise. So there has to be a corresponding increase in the trained human resources, technology. Everything has to keep pace with this aging population. And that is why these, in absolute numbers, you will not find a decrease between over the last decade or so. So 50%, and cataract has remained the largest contributor of blindness in adults 50 years and older, even in 2020. And 15 million, like I said, which is approximately 45% of the 33.6 million people who are globally blind. Undercorrected refractive error again causes more low vision than blindness, and it's responsible for about 42% of the total global low vision. Less easily treatable, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, age-related macular degeneration. Now, they have led to about 19 million cases of moderate or worse vision impairment in adults which are 50 years and older. So this is very similar to what happens in the country. Now, if you see what happens in India, now again India top leading cause again is cataract-related blindness. 66% of the blind cases of the people who are blind is all cataract. And if you move to severe vision impairment, which is kind of you're moving into the low vision category, then it increases because it becomes about 81%. So now what are the economical impacts if you leave people the way they are? That is, rather they are blind. So then what happens is, because productivity is lost, right? So they are not being productive citizens of the country, and you are more productive in that age group. So then they have to have caregivers. So caregivers have to lose their wages looking after them. And the economic burden because of uncorrected refractive error was estimated to be about a decade ago. This study was conducted, and it was US dollars 244 billion. To the tune of that amount was the economical burden of blindness. And like I said, cost-effective interventions are very simple. These are all avoidable blindness, which is easy. And just $28 billion is required to establish eye care services to be able to take care of this needless blindness. And the International Association Agency for Prevention of Blindness had this target of reducing blindness by 0.25%. So that was something that was there. And so these numbers been achieved? So worldwide, like I said, because of the aging population, absolute numbers have not reduced. So you'll still see that blindness has reduced to a certain extent, but not that much. And it is again, so this is regarding cataract. And India was the first country to launch the National Program for Control Blindness, NPCB, in 1976. And the aim was to reduce blindness prevalence to 0.3% by 2020. But what happens even today, blindness prevalence stands at 1.99%. So we are still at 2%. Now the cataract coverage rate is very variable within the country also. Within the world, in the high income countries, the coverage is very high, but even there are countries within India, because the coverages in the southern part of the country is much better, the cataract surgical rate, compared to some parts in the northern India. So some parts in the south are very comparable to what happens in the high income countries. So this high variability, and there are lessons that can be learned from various regions that are doing very well. So, and then it is not just cataract, sometimes it is the complications of cataract surgery that is responsible for visual loss following cataract surgery. So this dissuades people from coming forward to cataract surgery. And like as expected, cataract prevalence is more, you'll find all this more prevalent in the illiterates than among the literates, and by about threefold actually. And then you'll find this more common in women than in men, because traditionally women are not seeking eye care services because of various reasons. And so this is across the board. And if you look at glaucoma, now again, glaucoma is the leading cause of blindness, and it is the silent thief, which we all know, because it robs somebody of their vision and they have no idea. And there are about 79.6 million people projected by 2020, it was projected. It was only about 60 million about a decade ago, and half of these are Asian. Now, in terms of prevalence, the global prevalence of glaucoma is 3.5%. In various parts of the world, you'll find open-angle glaucoma more common than the angle closure glaucoma. So they'll not have pain. It's a painless loss of vision. But in India, it is similar. It is common. Both are similar. So you'll have open-angle and angle closure disease. Very similar proportions are there. And why is glaucoma common? Because you wouldn't even know. So what are some of the, and this checking this intraocular pressure is not, it has been shown not to be a very great screening technique, because what happens is you have pressures, you have people with glaucoma with normal pressure also. So it is very important to have, so who are those people who need to be screened? Family members. So if you have a person with a glaucoma in a family, those family members should be screened, because family history is a very strong link associated with glaucoma. And anybody over 40 should get their intraocular pressure and at least their Fields test done. So those are the risk factors in glaucoma. In terms of diabetic retinopathy, as we all know, India will be the diabetic capital of the world very shortly. And this is because of the lifestyle changes, the aging population that we have, the lifestyle, all those things. And diabetic retinopathy, though it is not, the other problem is the diagnosis, because again, unless it affects the most central portion of the retina, people do not have loss of vision. So they are not even being screened for. And the best way to catch them is when you go for your diabetologist. The diabetologist should be the one who should be vigilant and should be asking that person to go to an eye specialist or to an ophthalmologist to screen for diabetic retinopathy. Because unless it is sight-threatening diabetic retinopathy, you can get picked up also. And undercorrected refractive errors or uncorrected refractive errors, that is a big story, because myopia, and if you add 157 million people with uncorrected refractive errors, and this doesn't even include the 510 million because of functional presbyopia. So what is presbyopia? When you're not able to see for near as you turn in your late 30s, right? You're not able, your arms get extended. So you start having longer arms because you start pushing material at a distance to be able to see clearly. And there are 510 million people who require a pair of glasses to be able to see for near. So that is the kind of magnitude that is there, even presbyopia. And the 157 million which are just uncorrected refractive errors. And this across all age groups though. So this is the kind of spectrum in terms of large, the most common causes of visual impairment or blindness. When it comes to children, in children it will be cataract. You have retinopathy of prematurity. So any child who is born premature and weighs, I think, less than about maybe 1250 grams, 1500 grams should be screened. So and premature deliveries are becoming common now. So that child should be screened. So it is teased in Roshni Ki. So within the first 30 days screening, and the child needs to be referred to an ophthalmologist. And there are lots of cultural barriers, because what happens is there are these rituals that are performed, the child born and this and that. So the mother is like caught in that web, So even if she wants to take her child to an eye ophthalmologist, there are barriers there. So these cultural barriers are something that need to be addressed. And so Tees Din Roshni Ke is something that our institute is having that logo. And so retinopathy of prematurity, very common. It was not heard of in the developing world earlier, but now it is the most common cause. And then you have cataract, congenital cataract arising in children from birth or within first few weeks. Then you have glaucoma in children. So you have their corneas looking hazy, blue, large, and then this was thought to be a sign of beauty, and if the child has squint, they think that it is something auspicious, or it will get straight on its own. No, it doesn't happen. And then uncorrected refractive errors. So the child is not seeing clearly, like Dr. Vikas Mahatme said yesterday. So the child has no clue what is going on in distance. So the child is not interested in the world outside, they are just so myopic, they are just within themselves. So, and that is another leading cause. This is what, and then leukocoria. So a white reflects in the pupillary area. So as the child, you see this white thing, white reflects from both the pupils. So you can have eye cancer, retinoblastoma, again not detected, and it is familial. Sometimes it is familial, so it is very easy to pick. So if somebody in the family has had, the entire family should be screened for retinoblastoma or eye cancer. And then you have these small other problems like watering from the eyes. You can have redness. So the parents are vigilant. And then I think the simplest thing that parents can do is, if the child is not smiling by, let's say, by 8 weeks of, by 2 months, it should raise some suspicion, saying that why is the child not even fixating, not even smiling? And so these are the telltale signs, so which should be picked up by parents, and then they should seek eye care, because by the time they get referred to tertiary eye care centers, they have lost significant amount of time, because they have to navigate the system, they have to find the right specialist there, they have to have the resources there, and then if they are not literate enough, they don't even know where to go around. They need help, they need somebody to accompany them. So it's a lot of financial burden. So I would say that I think it is a trained human resource. And so you're not going to get ophthalmologists to go or optometrists to go into these peripheral areas, to remote areas. But then technology can certainly be taken to these areas. And we are having lots of technology these days. A simple smartphone can be used to screen for lots of diseases and refractive error. So we are having a phoropter, folding phoropter, which is under $1 or something like that. And so it is cheap. So at least you'll know starting point, And L.V. Prasad Eye Institute has put together this pyramidal model. So we have vision centers. So we have about 200 vision centers across 3 states, which is Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Orissa. So if other states can replicate this model, because the WHO has accepted this and they've had it in the Pacific area. So they've replicated these models. And so at least basic eye diseases can be picked up at the vision centers, and then they are referred to the next center, next level, which is the secondary center, and there surgeries can be performed, glaucoma, cataract, and all that. And then what cannot be treated at that level can go on to the tertiary care centers. So this model works well. So in this whole process, I think it is, as optometrists, we have a role to play. and a huge role. So in whatever capacity, and community outreach is the best way of reaching out to people, because if unless you go, and this is time tested. So school screening, just catch them young. So do these school screenings, but you do a school screening, you make sure that you're going to provide them glasses, because it's pointless to screen and not do anything after that. So it's important to provide them a pair of glasses, or at least let them know where they can get them. So I think, so if this is put together, then we can win this war against blindness, and we are all the soldiers in it, and like COVID warriors. So I think it's and now we are all the soldiers that have to join hands, regardless of what the affiliations are and what the professional titles are. So if you all come together, then we should be able to tackle and unnecessary causes of avoidable blindness.
Thank you so much for your elaboration on the common eye care problems. What I will request is, Ramji, would you help us understand what all preventive eye care measures could help alleviate these common eye problems? Also, we would like to request Vinodji help share some interesting statistics on uncorrected refractive errors.
Thank you, Madhur. And so I would probably touch upon a couple of things which is perhaps close to me, and perhaps what I know slightly better is about uncorrected refractive error and the aspects by which we can probably solve it. And the other one is, of course, basically looking at, even one is prevention, the other one is protection of eyes relating to uncorrected refractive error. So that's something which I would touch upon. So when you look at the WHO definition, and when you look at spectacles have been added as a priority assistive product, which is also released by ICMR. So it's been recognized by ICMR, it's been recognized by WHO that spectacles is a priority assistive product. What it means? It means that it should be accessible to all the population spectrum of the population, irrespective of the rich or the poor. I think that's where the Dr. Vijaya's mention of affordable eye care is it's very pertinent, because when it comes, it's defined like this: spectacles should be available across the board, across India, rural and the smallest of villages. It should be available, it should be accessible. At the same time, it should also be offered at that spot, so that we are able to do that last mile pretty well. And so that's where the challenges are. And I think it is something which is ongoing. Efforts by many organizations are across India is happening. And I think IVI is one of them, which is quite probably the early, maybe Vinod will bear me out there. I think they were the first one to look at the fishermen community, to look at what happens because of the UV radiation in the sea, and we had probably given sunglasses. A small piece of sunglass could solve a lot of issues in the future. So that's something, just to give you a perspective of what can be done. Small things can do a lot for the country. So when you look at the social impact and look at what it can do, I think that's a huge amount of GDP loss, like what Doctor had mentioned. I think in India, if you look at the losses of the what you call the economic loss, it was quite high. It came to that URE economic impact was something close to about 2 lakh crores of rupees of productivity loss every year because of URE, which means it's a significant one. And so I guess we can do a lot here with small. With all the institute, all the the various public-private partnerships, which is very important to eliminate this URE. It can't be done by one; it has to be done by many across the spectrum. So, coming to what are the solutions which we can give? It just is a very simple solution, but it looks simple, but it's quite complicated to execute. It's only the spectacles. So, if you're able to reach the spectacles at an affordable price, and to the rural poor as well as the urban poor, because I think we are sometimes ignoring the urban part of the problem and going into rural. There are so many areas in urban itself where people don't have access to eye. They have accessibility to eye care, but there's no affordability. So I think we need to look at how do we reach out to these kind of population as well. And it's also, one is of course prevention, the other one is also protection. sunglasses with UV protection is very important in a country like India, which is tropical in nature. And so I think we need to look at how do we, it's not fashion oriented, it's actually a need as well when you're going out to secure yourself against, the harmful ultraviolet which is emitted out. Now, the third part is, of course, like the mention by taking from what Dr. Vijay had mentioned about the myopia, the growth of myopia across the globe, and it's going into it's within inverted commas, it's like a pandemic. It's not of course, it's not as pandemic as what we have it in COVID, but it can turn out to be a big issue for the population. So we need to address this myopia, and there's a lot of efforts going into myopia management. And I think there's something which everyone is now focused upon, right from WHO to the various research institutes in India, which perhaps to name a few, LV Prasad, Arvind Eye Hospital, or Shankar Netralaya, all of them are doing a great job in trying to address this myopia control or myopia management. And so this is something which we can do. And I just wanted to pick something when you had mentioned, Doctor, about also the how cataract, which was part of the efforts which has been going on for long, and how did we help in reducing the incidence of avoidable blindness by a great mission across the country on the cataract. So I think one of the reasons also perhaps could be to have an affordable IOLs, and which was available some years back, some decades back by Oro Lab, which they produced it at a very, very low and affordable cost, which actually transmitted into more affordable reach to the patient. So, and today, India, 50% of the global IOLs are manufactured in India for the global market. So you can imagine that India can actually become the hub of the spectacles and the other ancillary business if we do it well with the government support, and as well as with the private entrepreneurial abilities to bring in some kind of a focused activity. And beyond all that, there should be a kind of a passion to do this, a mission to do this without any, see, all these great institutes have been built by actually with a purpose. And I think LV Prasad is one, Arvind is another, Shankar Netralaya is third, and there are many others in India, but I'm just naming the three. But I guess all those three, if I look at it, since I've worked closely with them, there was a real purpose in what they went into it. And the people around inside also had a real mission to carry on the purpose, I think, with dedication. And this is what is required also in this uncorrected refractive area segment. So now coming to quickly onto the what happens with the population. Now look at where I said the global, when you look at the top 500 cities, close to about 280 million population is around, and I think around 140 to 150 million people are still to be uncorrected, even in the top 500 cities. And the rest of the India, which is about 1 billion people, there are more than 450 to 500 million people to be corrected. So I think that's the kind of a mammoth task which we have in hand, and I think we have a task to do, and whatever we do will not be enough, but definitely will be towards reaching the goal of trying to make India and a completely uncorrected refractive free error country, which is a huge task, but I think we should have a purpose to do that. So I would rest here and probably request Vinod to take on from if I missed out something.
Thank you, Ram. First of all, let me commend Optician India for Eye Care Awareness Initiative. Thank you so much, and we are delighted to join you in a small way. I also want actually to acknowledge the Honorable Dr. Mahatme opened this whole session. I think what he is contributing is immense. I mean, he's such a generous man. He's now sitting there in a level as a Rajya Sabha MP where he can make a difference, and the assistance he's providing to this sector is immense. Thank you so much. And at the same time, I think his words are so encouraging. A lot of the facts that have been shared before, are very much in line with what our thinking at IVI is in terms of uncorrected refractive error, what we are trying to do in terms of dealing with that particular issue. But just to maybe throw a few more facts out there. As mentioned before, when you look at children, 80% of what a child learns is visual by looking at the board or whatever mechanisms. Typically, it's mostly the board. Now, if they can't see well, they can't study well. If they can't study well, they can't progress in life. Typically based on, again, data that's available, as well as the screening of probably close to 300,000 children we've done so far and provided spectacles, at least 7 to 8% of kids would need glasses. Now, if these glasses are not given to them, most probably they will get a lower grade, they might fail, and often that might lead them into a different path, including crime and a whole range of other issues. So it's quite important for a child, to get a pair of glasses. It doesn't cost too much, but it's a life-changing thing. When you look at adults, somebody who's working, crossing the age of 40, like most of us and most people, they would need a pair of reading glasses. They say that, for a number of people in professions where sight is important, just a simple pair of glasses would increase the productivity by 34%, and their income earning capacity would grow by 20%. And probably it'll get worse and worse, as they get older. And most people don't realize that that's all that they need. Now, just to add to the previous statistics that was all shared before, I think the global statistics was given by Dr. Vijaya. If you just bring that to India, they say India, the productivity loss is close to $37 billion a year, by not having access to a pair of glasses. And, based on, again, our experience, there are two big barriers. And one of them, I think it's great that Optician India is doing things to overcome the barrier, and that is awareness. Many people don't realize that all they need is to go get their eye checked and get a pair of glasses. If more messaging is happening, I think it would benefit more. For example, recently I was involved in a large project, large campaign in UP, the See Now campaign. Again, I think Essilor was a key partner, Fred Hollows, a whole range of other providers got involved. Amitabh Bachchan lent his voice. It went through, auto rickshaws and WhatsApp and a whole range of other mechanisms so that it can actually penetrate the community. So the messaging needs to be there. It needs to go to, every Indian. And I think that's quite important about awareness. The second barrier often is access. Okay, I know that, I need access to a pair of glasses, but where do I go? One, there's a shortage of human resources. And I think, as Dr. Vijaya and even Ram has mentioned, we have to deal with that issue. In terms of just, you look at the optometry, optical profession, people who test and dispense spectacles, there are hardly about 35 to 40,000 people at this stage. India as a country would need more than 3 times that number based on a simple population to professionals ratio. So at this point, there are not enough programs to even fill the gap. We need to have more programs. We also need to have other ways that we can fill this gap so that rural India benefits, underprivileged and urban cities benefit. And I think it's quite important. We got to, one, deal with the human resource issue, which, could be done if we all work together. The second is we also need, access to an outlet provider, which I think once the human resources is there, we need better entrepreneurship models where people would go to rural India, go to certain segments, have a business, make sure it's profitable. Otherwise, why would they want to do that? And I think that kind of a model is I think what would take India to the next level. So I'll just leave my opening comments here because later on we're going to talk a little bit about other issues. So I'll just chip in at that stage.
Thank you so much, sir. And I would request you to add on the topic of road safety, as in we are in the National Road Safety Awareness Month, which started on the 18th of January. Does regular eye checkup actually help the cause in any manner?
Look, I mean, as a matter of fact, it is generally accepted that there is a correlation between vision and accidents, whether it's somebody tripping and falling or somebody driving and having an accident. I think, it can be said very clearly that there is a correlation. They say that about 42% of drivers in India would need, eye correction, access to a pair of glasses. It's great that there's a whole bunch of programs happening just to deal with truck drivers, maybe one small segment of the driving population. Now, we were part of that program. We are still part of the program. And just on the statistics we have, in a screening of approximately 9,000 drivers, about 45% of them needed spectacles. The distance correction was close to 15%. The myopes who had two diopters or more were about 1%. And that is significant. That means, really speaking, they shouldn't be driving without having a pair of glasses. So the numbers are there. Now, taking this one step further, over the last week, we've been having some discussions, because I guess what is missing is we know the fact that vision is important, pair of glasses is important. Later on, what the direct correlation between not having a pair of glasses and an accident, I think that needs to be established a bit more. There is some studies done within an Indian context, and I know the government, is quite receptive to have additional measures in place. Already there are some measures in place, but how do we strengthen these measures, including, vision is important when you go for a driver's driving license, renewal, or getting a driving license. In some countries, they just don't take it into account that somebody signed. They sometimes have a vision chart in the back that you have to read, before they would process your license. So things like that, what additional measures can be done. So both in terms of consolidating those facts, building on it, making it particular to India, and then suggesting measures going further is good. We are currently in the process of chatting with a number of people to put a small task force together that would look at it, a bit more in depth.
Ram sir, as there are a few statistics which have been highlighted earlier as well, would you like to add on a few more statistics which are really interesting to know, and where the eye care needs and the gaps therein could be highlighted, as well as we can discuss the remedies with Vinodji and Dr. Vijaya post sharing those statistics?
Yeah, I think perhaps to start with, on the road safety, I think this is an area where I guess is critical for India, because if you look at the numbers, I think 70% of the fatal crashes of trucks and buses primarily happens by the truckers and the bus drivers in both rural and urban. And 80% of their cases are attributed to human error. This is something which the source is from one of the studies from IIT Delhi. So I think one of the good thing is that the Honorable Minister for Road Transport, Highways and MSME, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, has announced very recently a PPP model to reduce road accidents. And so I think if we are able to bring in, like what Vinod mentioned about trying to get eye care as eye checkup as one of the important contributor to reducing the road accidents, I guess it's going to perhaps help in achieving the objective of reduction of road accidents by the ministry and by the government. And this can happen by Dr. Vikas Mahatme's yesterday's Honorable Rajya Sabha MPs mentioned yesterday. Of each one of us should take one date and make sure that we go there and remember that to have eye screening done every day. I think there should be a campaign of national scale of what he has indicated yesterday, and I think it was very impressive when he mentioned that. And I think these are small steps, and if you're able to bring that into the road safety as well, it could be a kind of a big initiative which we can embark upon as across the country. We could look at this, because road accidents everybody understands, and and this is something, why did diabetes became so, popular? In a sense, I would say not popular, but why was the awareness so much created? It was because it was kind of a disease which could also becoming a little disruptive to your health and perhaps to your life as well. Eye care doesn't have that kind of an issue. So unless we bring in something like road safety, which actually it actually destroys a family or it destroys the livelihood of people, and eye care could be one of the causes for this kind of a destruction. I think this will go into the minds of the psyche of the individuals. I think of the population. So I think it's important that we have this and take this as one of an initiative to get this messaging across with the honorable minister and the ministry for having eye care in the PPP model which he has initiated.
So, Vinodji, would you want to add on to this?
I think the facts, the data is there, and as I briefly mentioned, I think it's going to be a question on collating all that, putting that into a form so that it's very rational for the government in terms of further policy implementation. And I think sooner than later, because right from Mr. Nitin Gadkari and the transport ministry to in a state level, what's happening with the Department of Motor Vehicles, there is interest. So I think that change will happen. It's probably just a question of us vocalizing the rational more stronger, and also probably developing mechanisms that would help us to find solutions. So for example, like I mentioned before, even a very simple eye screening chart somewhere in the department. I know that time is of essence when you go for a driving license renewal. So we just need to find more better methods that would allow us, because if it's just a question of somebody ticking a box, there would be a tendency to say, yes, I've done my eye test. But I think taking a step further than that, I think would be quite important. And the last bit is, I think whenever there is a minor accident or whatever, maybe I think the relevant police or whoever it is does make a note on the case, whether that particular person has any kind of vision problems or not. I mean, whatever mechanisms that could be put in place, because all that would mean that going forward, people know that this is an issue that is important and they should pay attention.
Right. So, Dr. Vijaya, what's your take on this?
If you have vision impairment, or if you have poor vision and you're on the road, I think you're the biggest public health hazard, because in addition to you causing accidents, see, what you could do is, somebody could lose life because of you. And that person may be the sole breadwinner of that family. So you in effect kill a family, So you got to be very mindful of that fact that if you have vision loss and if it cannot be corrected or can be corrected for whatever reason it is, so you got to be safe on the road, and you got to ensure people's safety in addition to that. It seems, according to some statistics, 150,000 people were killed in 480,000 road accidents in 2019. Average of 414 a day, or 17 accidents in an hour. So that is the kind, and we, among all the cities, it seems Mumbai topped the list. So if this is the kind of road safety that we have, then it's very dangerous out there. And it is, so what mechanisms can be put? So I think awareness as to why it is important to have good vision, because like I said, it is so important for your own safety and for the safety of others on the road. You could just inadvertently hit people, and that person could be, again, just that person, maybe the breadwinner in that family. So I think visual acuity, or the vision, like number of lines that you can read on the chart, is just one factor. You could have, like, let's say somebody who has night blindness, like retinitis pigmentosa, or let's say glaucoma. They may have vision which is, so they may be able to read all the lines on the chart, right? Straight central vision, they'll all have normal, but in the side vision, they'll have this loss of field loss. So periphery, they can't see. So they can't see this car or this bicycle or a motorbike which is coming from the side, and then that get caused. So if you have this tunnel vision, where you can't see in the side, you have no idea because you just don't know what's happening, what's coming on the side. So visual field criteria also should be there in addition to visual acuity, which is the number of lines that you can read on the chart. The color vision, all those are far-fetched things because again, the traffic lights, the color, many people learn it. So you have red, yellow, and then I think green, yellow, and red. So in that order. So that I'm not sure, but then at least they should have some measure of visual acuity on your driving license to say, and if you can give some restricted license. So you say, okay, don't give full license. So you say, okay, so this is the kind of road you can drive at, this is the speed you can drive. I don't know how practical it is because it is a very complex situation, because when you tell people that, so when I see patients in the clinic and think that they should not be on the road, I tell them that, look, I think if you're driving, then it is very difficult. You could be a public health hazard. But then having said that, do they have means to earn a livelihood? Can they change their occupation to work from home? Is that, because that's a luxury to work from home. And they can't have a chauffeur-driven car, so that's out of question. How do they sustain their livelihood? How do they sustain a family? So having said that, unless we put alternative mechanisms in place, this issue is not very simple to solve. So yeah, so I think it's much more than what meets the eye. It is not just what is there out there. So these are very loaded statements to say. So that's why I'm very careful when I tell people that, having, even after knowing that they should not be on the road, but then you have to think of the other side also. So you tell them, see, look, be careful, go slowly. Please make sure that you go a little earlier to the office, you start before time, you come a little later. So I think extended hours will work in favor of those people. But then yes, this is the maximum that is possible at this point of time. But then yes, eye checkups, regular eye checkups, at least if they have refractive error that can be corrected with glasses, that should be corrected. And then these regular checkups, if there's glaucoma, then monitoring your intraocular pressure, your fields. So at least you're aware. So only aware citizens can do this, because unless you're aware of it, and you are responsible for safety of others on the road more than yourself, So that I think every driver on the road, the moment you are on the road, you have to be careful, and you're responsible for other safety on the road. So I would say that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And it has been a wonderful session in terms of inputs that we have on various topics related to vision problems as well as the solutions which are available to us. I would request Ram sir to help conclude the session, and I thank you all for being a part of it.
Yeah, thank you, Madhur, and thank you for getting us all together in a forum which is of national importance, I would say, because it's a small, every small step would lead us to somewhere, and some positive aspect of trying to reduce the uncorrected refractive error, which to me is the first step towards leading India to a better productivity. I think our contribution would be by giving better productivity and thereby contributing to the GDP of the country. So I think that perhaps could be the first step. And so thank you all for giving a kind of a perspective which is more or less getting unified to one common purpose, which is to probably do something better than what we've been doing till now. I think, with the ministers, with the initiative in the road safety, which is happening this month, it's a road safety month, which is going on, which is very good. And in addition, I think like what Vinod mentioned, the Rajya Sabha Honorable Minister, Rajya Sabha Member, Dr. Vikas Mahatme's statement of going for eye screening every year, and how we should make that happen. I think we should take this as one of the leads during this, the message, which is a very strong message, and we try to adapt this and pass it on to the people and also contribute towards this. So that's from my side.
So thank you all for being a part of this session. We really appreciate your support and help. Thank you so much.